My name is Rebecca Smith, and I'm 32 years old. I married my husband, Michael, 3 years ago in the spring. Michael and I have a strong relationship, and we're also very close to his sister, Emily. We're like real sisters. Over the years, we've cared deeply for Emily, almost like we were her parents. We've always wished for her happiness and have supported her as she grew. One day, Emily reached a major milestone in her life. Her fiancé, Daniel, proposed to her. She told us she wanted to introduce him to us, her surrogate parents. She said, "I'd like you both to meet my fiancé." It was an emotional moment for Michael and me. Seeing Emily, whom we love like a daughter, find her life partner was incredibly touching. We felt so proud and happy for her. The day finally came when Emily brought Daniel to meet us. He seemed to be around my age at 32 and was 5 years older than Emily. I guessed she preferred someone a bit older. Daniel had a calm and steady presence, and I was impressed by his demeanor. However, I noticed something odd. Kept glancing at me. I wondered if he had something to say, or if there was something about me that caught his attention. Was it just a coincidence? The question lingered in my mind. To be sure, I quickly checked my clothes and hair for anything out of place, but everything seemed fine. Perhaps Daniel realized his glances might seem rude. As he soon stopped, Michael and I decided not to dwell on it, and instead focused on getting to know Daniel and enjoying the moment. As we sat together at the table, the conversation flowed easily. Michael said to Daniel, "Please take good care of my younger sister," expressing his trust in him. Daniel promised to do so, and this exchange brought a warm, harmonious feeling to the gathering, easing any nervousness we had about meeting him. At one point, Michael asked something he had been curious about. "Daniel, may I ask where you work?" Both Michael and I listened attentively, eager to learn more about the man Emily had chosen. Daniel answered proudly, puffing out his chest, "You might have heard of Edie work at T Company, which is growing really fast right now." "T Company? You mean the famous game development company?" Michael asked. "That's right," Daniel said with a confident smile. "I actually changed jobs to work there last year, but I didn't leave my previous job because I didn't like it. The company scouted me directly because they highly valued my skills. It was like a promotion. Don't worry, I didn't start as just a regular employee." Hearing this, Michael and I were both stunned. My eyes widened in surprise, and I caught Daniel glancing at us, clearly pleased with our reactions. Encouraged, he continued to speak, his tone even prouder. "That's why I'd like you to trust me with Emily. I'm climbing the career ladder at the company faster than most. Even though I started as a regular employee, my salary will increase quickly, and I'll rise in the company soon. So, please rest assured." I was speechless. The company was well known, and its reputation in the industry was impressive. Michael and Emily were also aware of how prestigious it was, but it seemed none of us had expected Daniel to already be making such rapid progress there. While parts of Daniel's story felt it boastful, I chose to accept his words as he proudly talked about being headhunted and succeeding in his career. The conversation eventually shifted from work to personal topics, and I eagerly asked how they had met. Emily smiled and explained, "We met through a mutual friend. Daniel wasn't into matchmaking events but wanted to find a life partner. Our friend introduced us, and I decided to meet him. I wasn't really looking for a boyfriend at the time, but I'm glad I met Daniel." Emily blushed as she continued, "What really draws me to Daniel is how he always makes me smile. His slightly clumsy but adorable side is so endearing." Listening to them, it was clear how much they cared for each other. Their bond felt as sweet as sugar. Even though none of us were eating anything sugary, it was heartwarming to see their affection. However, something strange happened as they were leaving. Michael and I walked them to the door, while Emily and Daniel were chatting about gifts to bring next time. Daniel suddenly approached me and asked, "Do you perhaps not remember me?" Surprised, I tilted my head. "What do you mean? Do you really not remember me?" he asked again, sounding skeptical. His handsome face was familiar, but I couldn't place him. No specific memories of him came to mind. Seeing me struggle to recall, Daniel let out a small sigh, clearly disappointed. Well then, let's exchange contact information. And please tell Michael I forgot to get his number too. Daniel said casually. I was caught off guard by his sudden informal tone. Did we really know each other well enough for him to talk like that? I couldn't remember ever being close to anyone who would speak to me in such a casual way. Questions swirled in my mind. Who is he? What kind of relationship did we have? Since Emily was standing right there, I decided it wasn't the right time to confront him. I stayed silent, though my curiosity grew. After we exchanged contact information, I planned to text him later to clear things up. However, before I could reach out, Daniel sent me a message first. I'm surprised, he wrote. The girl who used to quietly sit in the corner of the classroom during elementary school is now married before me. To be honest, your face hasn't changed much since then, so I recognized you right away. His words stopped me in my tracks. I grew up in a town far from where I live now, and my time in elementary school wasn't pleasant. I was often teased by classmates, and the memories still hurt. When I started middle school, my family moved to a new city for a fresh start. That's where I met Michael, and over time, we built a strong bond. Those elementary school memories were something I tried to leave behind, and I didn't enjoy being reminded of them. I replied cautiously, "What are you talking about?" I wanted to avoid any misunderstandings, especially with Emily involved. So, I explained to Daniel that if we ever needed to communicate in the future, Michael would be part of the conversation. This way, everything would be open and clear. Daniel agreed and smiled as he asked, "By the way, do you remember being called poor girl back in elementary school?" That nickname stung. It had been used by my classmates to tease me, based on the word poor. Although my family wasn't struggling financially, I came from a single-parent household. At the time, some of the other mothers had made comments like, "It must be tough for a single mom," which led to rumors among the kids. That's how the teasing began. Hearing Daniel mention it brought back uncomfortable memories, but I stayed composed. It was those experiences that had driven my family to move and start over, giving me a chance to leave that painful chapter behind. The decision to move was also influenced by my mother considering legal action against some of the moms spreading cruel rumors. They said things like, they must be living a frugal life as a single-parent family, probably even using cardboard boxes to prepare meals. Leaving those toxic whispers behind felt like a relief. Once we moved, I never heard the nickname "poor girl" again, which had been a source of so much teasing. One day, however, I was surprised when a middle-aged man admitted he didn't even understand the meaning of the word poor. I calmly told him, "Please be mindful of your words, Daniel. You're my sister-in-law's fiancé, and our relationship doesn't go beyond that. Please don't bring up meaningless things so suddenly." After that, Daniel stopped messaging me. Maybe he realized he had crossed a line. But watching the whole exchange, Michael seemed visibly upset. His face darkened with frustration, and he finally blurted out, "What on earth is that man thinking? Does he not understand that you're his fiancée's sister-in-law? Bringing up your past like that and acting so casually is just outrageous." His anger was palpable, and I tried to calm him down, saying, "Take it easy, Michael." Despite my reassurances, I felt uneasy too. To address my concerns, I contacted my mother and asked her to check if there was a classmate named Daniel in my elementary school class photo. She quickly found it and, to my shock, "Ted, wasn't this Daniel the one who bullied you the most back then?" Hearing that, long-buried memories came rushing back. Daniel had been the ringleader of the bullying I endured in those days. To confirm, my mother sent me the class photo. Looking at it, I realized why I hadn't recognized him before. His appearance had changed drastically. Back then, he was a chubby boy, completely different from the slim and confident man he was now. After discovering this, I decided to investigate further, wanting to fully understand the situation. A few months later, Emily unexpectedly called me. "Rebecca, we haven't received your RSVP for the wedding yet. You and your brother are coming, right?" Her question caught me off guard. "Wedding invitation? We never received one," I replied, confused. My husband and I had been waiting for the invitation, but it never arrived. Emily sounded genuinely surprised. That stranger definitely sent it. There must have been a mistake somewhere. Don't worry, I'll bring it to you directly tomorrow. Her sincere tone reassured me, but the whole situation left me wondering what else might be hidden beneath the surface. The next day, Michael and I received the wedding invitation directly from Emily. We assured her we would attend, completely unaware of the storm brewing ahead. On the day of the wedding, Emily looked stunning in her white wedding dress, radiating like an angel. I congratulated her with tears in my eyes, wishing her a beautiful future. But the moment Daniel, the groom, opened his mouth, the joyous mood shattered. Pointing at me, he asked coldly, "Why are you here? I purposely didn't send you an invitation." His words stunned Emily, Michael, and me. It turned out Daniel had intentionally ensured that Michael and I wouldn't receive an invitation. He then launched into baseless accusations, claiming this woman grew up with just her mother. When things got tough, she ran away. She must have faced financial hardships and now clings to a wealthy man for an easy life. She's delusional and out of touch with reality. His words were hurtful and entirely untrue. Michael, sitting beside me, clenched his fists in anger, but I quietly urged him to stay calm. Daniel didn't stop there. "I hold an important position at the well-known e-company," he declared. "If I marry Emily, are you planning to use your connection to me to get money?" His accusations were outrageous. The guests, clearly his light-minded friends, started whispering amongst themselves. I couldn't let it go any longer. I calmly walked over to a nearby staff member and requested the microphone. Daniel smirked, likely expecting an emotional outburst. Instead, I spoke with composure. "It's absurd that someone who can't even recognize the president of their own company dares to call themselves an elite. Think carefully before you make baseless claims. If you want to sever ties with me, I'll see you in the president's office tomorrow to finalize the HR procedures." I handed the microphone back, returned to my seat, and maintained my calm demeanor. Michael, unable to tolerate the situation any longer, stood up and left the venue. Shortly after, Emily also began walking in the same direction. Noticing her leaving, Daniel panicked and called out, "Wait, why are you leaving too? I'm just trying to cut ties with her." But Emily didn't stop. It was clear this wedding was heading for a disastrous end. When Daniel, still oblivious to the seriousness of the situation, tried to speak to Emily, she gave him a cold, unwavering look. "Do you even know Rebecca?" she asked firmly. "She's the CEO of Tea Compania, woman I respect and deeply admire. She's not just my sister but someone I look up to. I can't forgive you for insulting her. I'm breaking off this engagement right now. You've ruined one of the most important days of our lives. Be prepared for the consequences." Daniel was utterly shocked by Emily's stern words. Meanwhile, Emily composed herself and addressed the venue staff, informing them that the wedding was cancelled. Instead, the event would be simplified into a casual meal gathering. She made it clear to all the guests that Daniel was entirely to blame for the broken engagement. It was a bold move, one that sent a strong message. The following day, I awaited Daniel in the president's office, calm and composed, but with two large, muscular employees by my side in case he tried anything reckless. When Daniel entered, his demeanor shifted from overconfidence to unease as he took a seat. Without greeting anyone, he had a clear display of poor manners. "No way," he stammered, his disbelief evident. "You're really the president. This is impossible." "If you'd bothered to check our company's website," I replied coolly, "you would have found all the information about me. Didn't you think to verify the facts before coming here?" Daniel tried to come up with an excuse but faltered. It was clear he hadn't taken my earlier words seriously. Assuming I was bluffing, I wasted no time and presented him with a copy of his resume. "You falsified your educational background here, haven't you?" I asked. "And you've claimed to have qualifications and skills like expertise in Excel and video editing, softwares that you don't actually possess. Are these statements accurate?" He hesitated before admitting to some of it. "About that part. Falsifying information on a resume and providing false reports are valid reasons for termination under our policies," I stated firmly. Daniel's face showed clear panic as he realized the weight of the evidence against him. In truth, I'd had my suspicions about Daniel from the moment we first met. Afterward, I conducted a thorough investigation. Generally, at a company, all senior-level hires are directly approved by me. However, Daniel had entered through the standard recruitment process for mid-career hires, and I had never spoken to him personally during his application process. It was clear now that Daniel's poor judgment, lack of integrity, and arrogance had led him to this point. He had underestimated not just me, but the values of the company he claimed to represent. Daniel joined the company claiming he was aiming for a promotion and had strong skills in software. However, it soon became clear he lacked those skills, which blocked his chances of advancing. Despite giving himself high self-evaluations, his poor attitude and laziness at work stood out. He spent more time enjoying the prestige of working at the company than actually doing his job well. I tried to help him improve, but his behavior didn't change. Now that his engagement to Emily is officially over, and there's no personal connection between us, I saw no reason to tolerate his unpleasant attitude any longer. Since he'd been with the company for less than 6 months, I decided to let him go without severance, pay, or complicated handover tasks. Daniel tried to rely on me as an old friend, asking for help, but I firmly told him there was no reason to continue our relationship. I arranged for other staff to oversee his immediate exit from the company. After leaving, Daniel sought financial help from his father. However, his past actions of spreading false rumors had burned bridges. His father, who had previously paid compensation for a defamation case involving Daniel's mother, finally cut him off completely and disappeared from Daniel's life. Left with no financial support, Daniel spent his days taking care of his elderly mother while being chased for damages. Eventually, he vanished without a trace, seemingly taken away by people dressed in all black. Since then, no one has heard from him. While someone might know what became of him, I have no interest in finding out. On the other hand, Emily was initially devastated to learn about the kind of person she had almost married. However, time has helped her heal. About 6 months later, she has come to see that not marrying Daniel was for the best. Her smile has returned, and she's even started attending events to meet someone new. Seeing Emily happy and moving forward with her life has been a relief for Michael and me. In fact, she and Michael are now discussing the possibility of having children together, marking a hopeful new chapter.